Greetings, everyone, and welcome. It is March the 23rd, and I'm coming to you today with a special update, 4 video clips that I believe will strengthen your opinion, understanding on what is really happening in the war in Ukraine, why the United States is failing miserably to do its due diligence as the leader of the free world, or as it used to be, the leader of the free world. And I want to share with you the absolute truth from Richard Nixon. You see it in the thumbnail title. You were warned. Russia must not be trusted. And I'm here to tell you that on this day, Sunday, March the 23rd, we are all being lied to around the world. And I'm going to call it for what it is. National Security Advisor Waltz today telling an untruth on national television in the United States. Additionally, Witkoff, Trump's special envoy to Russia, who is in Putin's pocket. Once again, I ask, where is Marco Rubio? I don't know where Marco Rubio is. We have the Witkoff show. And it's a disaster what he states on Fox News today. Once again, another lie and mistruth and misleading for the world. Richard Nixon right there pointing into the screen. You have been warned. Russia must not be trusted. All they do is lie and cheat for their own gain. And I have the Nixon video for you to prove it. Historical facts from Richard Nixon, who made that first famous visit to Russia in the 70s. Now, ladies and gentlemen, after that, I have Vladimir Putin. I'm going back in time to February the 24th, 2022, when he was not praying for Donald Trump, when he was not sending portraits of love and flowers and goodwill to Donald Trump, but he was calling the United States evil, an empire, a destructive force in the world. What has happened? What has happened to all of that? That is the question today. But what I'm going to share with you is going to help you spread the message to everyone else. I was asked by many viewers, Greg, what else can we do? We're so thankful we found you, the conservative voice, but man, you'll go after the Christians, you'll go after the church, you'll go after everybody just trying to share the truth. What can we do? Well, what you can do is like, share, comment. Please leave a comment. What are your thoughts on this? Some of these videos are going to blow you away, and let's get going with it. The first thing, Mike Waltz today on U.S. television, the ceasefire. If you were wondering when the ceasefire went into effect, it went into effect after the Trump-Putin call. Immediately, it was effective. Now, we're not going to mention that last night energy infrastructure was hit in Ukraine and shaheeds were flying into apartment buildings in Kyiv. And ladies and gentlemen, I have such horrible video of hearing people burn alive. 3 people losing their lives last night in Kyiv. But what planet, what web of lies are being shared for the world, and especially the American right MAGA world that is sucking this in and actually believing it. It is a disaster. Here is Waltz.
And the progression will be, we have this ceasefire on aerial infrastructure. That went in place immediately after President Trump's call with President Putin this week.
That went into place immediately after President Trump and Putin's call. This is what I was telling you guys, and Gertis and I were talking about it and others. When does this truce go into effect? And I told people, I said, dude, this is when it went into effect. It went into effect after the Trump-Putin call. They just do buddy-buddy over the phone call. There's nothing to sign. There's nothing for Ukraine to sign. Trump and Putin just have a call and they have a ceasefire on the energy infrastructure. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is nothing but 100% a lie. There is no ceasefire. There is no truce on anything. Therefore, once again, Russia pushing nothing but lies and deceit, and the Americans like Waltz are puppeting it like crazy. Witkoff today on Fox News. I am tired of this man. First of all, Marco Rubio should be having these conversations. I know the president can appoint whoever he wants. He can create special envoys. I get it. But man, there's a reason. There's something at play here. Something is sniffy. It's stinky. why Marco Rubio was not more involved. I mean, Rubio's silent, guys. This is ridiculous. Witkoff here, who is completely in the pocket of Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump. He says, I trust them, referring to Russia and Putin. And the EU is also starting to trust them. Ladies and gentlemen, let the lies continue. Here's Witkoff.
This is not me taking sides.
I'm
just identifying what the issues are. I've never seen a conflict that can be resolved without level setting the facts, and we're level setting the facts. Now, I've been asked my opinion, so about what President Putin's motives are on a larger scale, and I simply have said that I just don't see that he wants to take all of Europe. This is a much different situation than it was in World War II. In World War II, there was no NATO. So you have countries that are armed there. To me, it just does. I take him at his word in this sense. So, and I think the Europeans are beginning to come to that belief too.
I'm just level setting the field because I just talked to Vladimir Putin and I come back and praise A, how brilliant he is, B, how gracious he is and generous to give Trump a photo, and third or fourth, just how peaceful and how religious he is by even going to the church and praying with Kirill for Donald Trump's health. So you know what? I trust Putin, and my job is, I'm just listening. I'm to level the field of negotiations here. Guys, this is not a business transaction. Have you heard the word Zelensky in anything? Have you heard the nation name of Ukraine in anything? No, it is nothing but Putin and Trump, Moscow and DC, Kremlin and the White House, and it is absolutely a tragedy of justice. It is a travesty. It is absolutely a narrative that is being pushed directly out of the Kremlin through the White House and Witkoff on Fox News today. I trust them. And you know what? I'm seeing that the European Union is starting to trust them also. What planet are you on, Witkoff? Oh, yeah, I know what planet you are on. You're on the red planet, and that's not Mars. That's where Musk is. You're on the red planet of the Kremlin there in Red Square, marching around, I guess, dreaming about your wonderful partnership and friendship with Vova Putin. What a disaster. The lies continue. Now, from the thumbnail, ladies and gentlemen, now we get to it. Richard Nixon saying, you know what? All the Russians do are lie and cheat. Why? Richard Nixon tells you why. And this is the perfect answer for today.
Mr. President, can we trust the Russians?
But you can't trust them on the basis that, well, we're sincere and they're sincere. That is totally irrelevant where the Russians are concerned.
Why do they lie and cheat? Why are they insincere?
The reason is that their goal is very different from ours. To simplify it, our goal is peace as an end in itself, and their goal is victory. And whether it's peace or war, it's a means to the end of victory, the Soviet or Russian or communist domination of the world. And under Marxist-Leninist teachings, you use any means to achieve that great goal. And if it requires that you lie and you cheat, you lie and you cheat. Now, under the circumstances, we simply do not follow that particular type of, quote, morality, unquote. And under the circumstances, however, in dealing with them, it doesn't mean that we have to lie and cheat, but we must be aware of the fact that they will when they can get away with it.
We must be aware of the fact that they will when they can get away with it. Richard Nixon here literally being Nostradamus, talking about 2025. It is absolutely unbelievable how accurate he is so many decades ago. Ladies and gentlemen, it's simple. The Russians lie and they cheat and they cannot be trusted. Witkoff going, I believe them. I trust them. Vladimir gave me his word. I would listen to Nixon here because he tells the truth. He tells the absolute truth. Now, the very person that Donald Trump trusts and believes in is Vladimir Putin. The very person that Witkoff and evidently Waltz trust in and believe in. And the reason I say Waltz is because he's confirming the truce agreement that's not even happening. Therefore, you must believe what Russia is telling you. This is logical. I'm going to take you back now to February the 24th, 2022, when Vladimir Putin made his initial speech after the invasion of Ukraine. Now, listen very closely. I have voiced over this portion. I want the world to know this is who Donald Trump trusts and believes in. This is who Witkoff trusts and believes in. And this is who the White House has allied itself with, a lying and cheating Vladimir Putin. Where is justice and truth here? Just lies and hypocrisy all around. Incidentally, U.S. politicians, political scientists, and journalists write and say that a veritable empire of lies has been created inside the United States in recent years. It's hard to disagree with this. It is really so. But one should not be modest about it. The United States is still a great country and a system-forming power. All its satellites not only humbly and obediently say yes to and parrot it at the slightest pretext, but also imitate its behavior and enthusiastically accept the rules it is offering them. Therefore, one can say with good reason and confidence that the whole so-called Western Bloc formed by the United States in its own image and likeness is, in its entirety, the very sense and empire of lies. So, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Vladimir Putin calling the United States an empire of lies. My translation there was perfect. My voiceover was perfect. Ask any native Russian speaker. Perfection. Age of empires. The U.S. is an empire of lies. He also made a statement in there that many American journalists, did you hear it? Many American journalists are uncovering and discovering this empire of lies inside the United States. That would be Tucker Carlson, ladies and gentlemen. That would be the other voices in America that is praising Russia. Those are the ones who have discovered this empire of lies inside the United States. That was 2022. Now he sees Donald Trump coming and he's going to play Donald Trump just like a fiddle. But ladies and gentlemen, that is the true opinion of Vladimir Putin. The United States is the enemy, the way of life, the belief system. Vladimir Putin, Xi Jinping, Kim Jong-un, and others want a new world order where the United States has nothing to do with it, and they are pushing this through the war in Ukraine, and it's just the beginning. We must stop believing the lies, and I remind you again, just like the thumbnail said, you were warned. Richard Nixon, many, many years ago. Thank you for being here. I hope this video has educated you, has challenged you, has given you something that you can share with others. Please do so and help us. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you for a comment, your like. What do you think about this video? Because today we dropped some truth bombs and it's good. Thank you to our moderation team and all of you guys. Be blessed, and we'll be back at you soon. There is a lot happening over the next 24 hours with the meetings in Saudi Arabia. But right now inside Ukraine, the war is raging hot and heavy. Be blessed, guys.